Jessica leaned in and pressed a gentle kiss to my cheek. "Just a weekend getaway with the girls," she said, flashing that same well-practiced smile I'd seen 100 times. I nodded silently, watching as she rolled her suitcase out the front door. She believed I bought the lie. She assumed I'd be here waiting when she came back. She was wrong. The second the door latched shut, I exhaled, a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding. For months, I'd known the suspicious late-night texts she poorly concealed. The sudden uptick in effort with her appearance on specific days, girls' nights, work dinners, always coinciding with a faint trace of cologne that wasn't mine. Jessica hadn't been discreet. She didn't think she had to be. That was her fatal mistake. I had verified it weeks ago, not with PI, but by piecing together the inconsistencies. Her trip wasn't with the girls. She was heading to a luxury resort 2 states away meeting him. She had no idea I knew and even less of a clue what I'd planned. I opened my notes app. Everything was mapped out, every detail accounted for. I'd already split my finances, moved my direct deposits, separated accounts. My name was off the lease. All bills hers now. Every subscription, every service I paid for gone. She'd return to find not just an empty apartment, but an erased presence. I moved through the space calmly, efficiently. My clothes, my suits, my beat-up hoodie she always stole packed. In the bathroom, I gathered my razor, my cologne, even the toothbrush I kept in the drawer. The fridge was emptied of my groceries. The furniture, half of it mine, was gone. The TV, my gaming console, even the coffee maker she used religiously each morning, all mine. By the time I was done, it didn't look like a home anymore. It looked like a showroom. Clean, impersonal, as if I'd never lived there at all. A quick check on my phone showed her recent check-in at the Sunset Bay Resort, oblivious, clueless that her world was about to shift beneath her feet. I set my apartment key on the kitchen counter, scanned the room one final time, and walked out. No note, no message, no dramatic goodbye, just absence. She thought she could cheat and still come back to me. She thought I was a safe fallback, someone too loyal, too dependable to ever walk away. She miscalculated badly. The door closed behind me, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel weighed down. It felt like stepping outside into crisp air after being trapped in a stifling room. The light of the setting sun washed the parking lot in gold as I made my way to my car. This wasn't a spontaneous decision. I hadn't rushed. I hadn't panicked. I'd been preparing for this moment with exacting precision. The apartment key sat alone on the counter, the last piece of me left behind. Every other thread connecting me to that life had been severed. There would be no way for her to contact me. She wouldn't know where I was. That was intentional. Behind the wheel. I looked up at the apartment one last time. So many memories tied to that place. Laughter, warmth, shared routines. But all of that had died long ago, quietly when trust began to rot. The walls were never the heart of the home. It had been the love, the honesty. Both had vanished. I tapped my phone. Another update. Jessica Monroe checked in. I smirked. She really thought she'd gotten away with it. She was probably sipping a drink by the pool, sending me half-hearted texts between stolen kisses with another man. She had no idea I'd already left. She still thought she held the power, that I'd always be her backup plan, her comfort zone. But I had removed myself from that role, and she was about to realize how thoroughly. I drove to my new apartment. 1 bedroom, clean, bright, mine. No echoes of betrayal in the corners. No shadows of what used to be. The lease was solely in my name. The key cool in my hand as I stepped inside. It didn't just feel like a fresh start. It felt like a reclamation. Later that night, as I unpacked, my phone buzzed. "Jessica, miss you already. Hope you're having a good weekend. Can't wait to see you when I get back. Zoxo." The audacity made me laugh. She was probably lounging in a robe, feet dipped in a pool, sending that text to maintain her illusion, still pretending I was the fool. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Her reality was about to catch up with her. I powered off my phone, poured myself a drink, and sank into the couch. For the first time in what felt like forever, I felt at peace, free. Jessica's heels echoed in the hallway as she returned, suitcase trailing behind her. The weekend had been perfect in her mind, pampering luxury, the thrill of deceit. She hadn't thought of me much. She never did when she was indulging herself. I was just the constant, the one she could always return to. She reached the door, phone in hand, already crafting a casual message to me, something light to cover her silence. But when she stepped inside, her fingers froze. The apartment was off. She blinked, confused. The air was different, still unfamiliar. No trace of my cologne. The walls seemed barren, stripped down. She moved inside slowly, suitcase forgotten at the threshold, her stomach tightening as unease clawed up her spine. Something was missing. Everything was missing. And that's when she knew. The couch was still there, right where it had always been. But something about the room felt wrong. The coffee table sat empty. No books, none of Nathan's usual clutter. The throw blanket he always used when watching TV was gone. A strange, uneasy laugh escaped her lips as she turned toward the bedroom. "Nathan," she called, half expecting him to walk out of the bathroom with that dry sense of humor of his, maybe pulling off some elaborate joke. But the silence was thick, heavy. It swallowed the sound of her voice. Her chest tightened as she stepped into the bedroom, and it hit her swift and brutal. The closet was nearly bare. All of his clothes were missing. Shirts, jeans, even those running shoes he never let get dirty. The drawers where he kept his watch and wallet were empty. Gone, too, were the framed photos of the two of them, the one she had dusted not even a week ago. Panicked, she rushed the bathroom, flinging open drawers and cabinets. Nothing. His razor, his toothbrush, the cologne she used to tease him about, all gone. She stumbled backward, breath shallow, her heart thundering in her chest. She grabbed her phone, scrolling desperately. No new text from Nathan. No missed calls. With trembling hands, she dialed his number. One ring, two, straight to voicemail. This can't be happening, she thought, and tried again. Voicemail. A creeping dread took hold. She darted to the kitchen counter, rifling to the pile of mail, bills, forms, junk, anything with his name on it. But there was nothing. Not a single envelope addressed to him. It wasn't just that Nathan had left. He had erased himself. Jessica gripped the counter, like it was the only thing keeping her upright. The apartment, once full of shared routines and quiet rituals, felt hollow, alien. She couldn't breathe. She opened her phone again, frantically tapping through messages. Just last week, Nathan had sent her a text. Need anything from the store? So plain, so normal, so him, boring, reliable Nathan. But now he was gone, and that quiet dependability felt like something she had taken for granted until it disappeared. She called again. Voicemail. She sent a text, her fingers shaking. "Nathan, what the hell? Where are you? Call me." She stared at the screen, willing it to change, to show a read receipt, a typing bubble, anything. Nothing. It hung there like a ghost, unseen, unanswered. She wasn't used to this, to being ignored. Jessica had always known how to control the story, how to shift it in her favor. But this was foreign ground. She tore through the apartment, flinging open drawers and cabinets, searching for some proof that he hadn't really gone, that he'd left something behind. But all the signs pointed to the same truth. Nathan had wiped himself out of her world. Even the Netflix login didn't work anymore. Her name was the only one left on the lease. She felt herself unraveling. The cold dread that crept through her was more than guilt. It was grief. He must have known. Of course he had. And he had been planning this probably for a while, watching her, waiting, letting her believe everything was still salvageable. She collapsed onto couch, pressing her hands against her face, trying to make sense of it. How long had he been preparing? All those times he didn't argue when he stayed quiet instead of reacting. That wasn't indifference. It was strategy. Her phone buzzed. Her heart leapt. Lisa. Jessica barely remembered answering. "Hey, how was your trip?" Lisa chirped, completely unaware. "Fine," Jessica lied, her voice flat and tight. Lisa kept talking. Something about brunch, someone's birthday, but Jessica couldn't focus. She stared at the empty corners of the apartment, the blank spots on the wall. Her stomach churned. "Nathan's gone," she said suddenly, cutting Lisa off mid-sentence. There was a beat of silence. "What do you mean gone?" Jessica's grip on the phone tightened. "I mean, he left, took all his stuff, canceled everything like he was never here." Her voice cracked. "He's just gone." Lisa inhaled sharply. "So he knows." Jessica didn't answer right away, saying it would make it too real. She looked around again, taking in the sharp emptiness. The silence was louder than any argument they'd ever had. He had vanished without yelling, without tears, just quiet, deliberate departure. Lisa's voice dropped. "This is bad." "No kidding." Jessica scrolled through her phone again, rereading old messages, hoping for something to hold on to. But there was nothing. No response. Just the echo of absence. "Maybe he just needs space," Lisa offered, though her tone lacked conviction. Jessica let out a hollow laugh. This wasn't impulsive. "He planned it. He waited until I was out of town. Made sure I couldn't stop him." Lisa hesitated. "So what are you going to do?" Jessica stood up suddenly, pacing the room like a caged animal. "I need to find him. Talk to him. He can't just vanish. He owes me that." Lisa's voice was soft but firm. "I don't think he does." Jessica froze. "What?" "I mean, maybe Nathan finally realized he didn't owe you anything. Maybe he got tired of the lies. Maybe he knew you weren't going to change." Jessica's stomach twisted. Nathan was a constant, the steady presence. He wasn't supposed to leave. He wasn't supposed to disappear. Then her phone vibrated in her hand. A text. Her breath caught. She tapped it open. Message failed to send. "You've been blocked." Her vision blurred. Her hands went numb. Nathan wasn't waiting. He wasn't coming back. He had left.